Call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, for consent.
Carrie Behringer, here. Paul Cuny.
Here.
Joe Lottie,
Here.
Robert Laraway,
Here.
Brian Peavy,
Here.
Carol Shannon here, Dave Storms.
Here. Full house. Our agendas before you, anything to add? Take out, talk about?
I would like to say that the items number 5 and 4 and 5 are going to be swapped. So we'll talk about the Isabella County Sheriff contract, and then the
Under what heading?
new business.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we'll talk about it in the order that it is now, but in your packet, it's swapped in the packet, so you'll have to, if you're
Oh.
gonna go with us through with the packet, you'll have to scroll down and then scroll back up.
I was gonna say under existing business, I think 3 and 4 should be switched.
Because we need the first before they'll do the second, is that?
Oh, the chippers on the budget, so if we approve the budget, then we essentially approve the chippers.
We will then just remove it from the budget. Oh, yeah, that's fine.
I wanted. What's up? I wanted.
Okay, what do we want to do?
You wanna move it to 4, the wood chipper before? He wants individual approval. For the wood, it has to be, wood chipper is an individual,
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
Okay.
So I want that ahead of the budget.
okay, so we will switch 3 and 4.
Is that what you changed?
That's what Brent
Oh,
said, yeah, that's what Brent said.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Brent's going, okay, I said it.
Misunderstood.
Okay. Any other agenda items? Okay, we'll approve it as unanimous consent. The consent agenda. Anything to be taken out and discussed? Nothing? Chair will entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda. That was a motion made by Latte to accept the consent agenda. Is there a second? Seconded by Behringer. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay, I want to say thank you to the Personnel Committee, or the Public Safety Committee rather, for getting all the stuff from the Sheriff's Department, meeting with the sheriff, and then trying to get all that stuff together so that we have something to look at. So thank you for that work. And I think Ms. Manley's gonna go over the history of the money part of the millage part of the road patrol when we get down. So we have some sort of background before we make a decision on that. Other than that, Ms. Manager, it's up to you.
So you have my report in your packet. Code enforcement has been slow. I did just get an assistant in the office, so I'm hoping now to spend a little more time out in the field looking at code enforcement issues, but I did want to bring up 1023 Cordova, which has been an eyesore for the village. And I know you guys have looked at taking that one to court. I have a few pictures in here that I wanted to show you that he is following through, although he did not get the van out the weekend that he said he was going to. He does have until the end of May to finish his cleanup. He's saying that it needs to be cleaned up for him to have the sale, but if you look at the pictures and you drive by, he really has done a tremendous amount of work to the property. So I'm hoping that it continues and then that property will once and for all just be able to be closed. I did send out 2 enforcement notices while I was out looking at that one. Year-to-date permit activity hasn't changed much. We had one new house come in this month. And as Dave mentioned, the county sheriff stopped by our meeting with the Public Safety Committee last week. The meeting went really well, and there will be more discussion about that under new business. April stats from the Mount Pleasant City PD's work is attached. They're still doing a tremendous job. We actually got an extra shift this past month, so that was nice to see. As I mentioned just a little bit ago, I hired a new assistant. She is here tonight. Her name is Jessie Finney. That'll be really hard for you guys to remember her name, I know, but she comes to us with many years of experience in customer service and data entry. She also knows BSNA. She knows assessing in the beginning stages, and she's familiar with elections. So she's really dived right into the work and has already been a tremendous help. We've had several emails and compliments on her being at the front desk already, so I thought that was really a positive as well. The DPW part-time position, we just wrapped up our interviews for that, and we have one very strong candidate that, barring any complications from the background check, we will be offering a position to later on next week. And he will hopefully be starting on June 1st. The tire,
We will be able to do two things.
we're hoping so, but for now, he's gonna start out just as the DPW direct, part-time position. And then if things work out, he did indicate, and his background does coincide with possibly merging the part-time DPW position with the part-time code enforcement for one full-time position. But that's something that's not gonna be entertained until after he shows us what, you know,
Yeah.
his work ethic and whatnot in the field for DPW. The tire recycling drive that we talked about will not be happening. That application actually needed to be in by the end of March, and it was not turned in. So I'm hoping next year, when we get that, we will be able to apply for it and then offer that program. I wanted to let you guys know that I met with the county administrator over the brownfield and land bank issues that we have on our agenda, and he's very much in favor of doing both. We ended up talking about a multitude of things, and it was a very positive interaction, I believe. We talked about the water system, and although I was very firm on the fact that village council has no intention of taking the water system over, he said he had to try to see if maybe we could do that. And I said, no, but we did come up with some alternatives. And he's gonna have his legal team look into, and if it proves that the county is able to do it, then we'll have our legal team look into it to see if it's something that we can offer to where eventually we'll end up possibly just removing the water system altogether. Let's see, I also had a pleasant call with BSNA. I don't know if anybody has been keeping up, but the county did just approve that they will be going to the cloud at the end of next year, so they're starting now because it takes BSNA, which is our tax software, our assessing software. It takes them about a year for implementation because of how many people are switching over right now. They did give an end date of 2030 where they will stop giving support to their .net. So the county really didn't have a choice, neither does any of the townships or anybody else that's not on BSNA yet to go to the cloud. It's just a matter of when. So the county is actually facilitating, just like they did in the past, that if, I think they said at least 5 townships, villages, or cities come together, that they will be able to get a discount from BSNA. Now, I work with Sherman Township, Broomfield Township, and Nottawa Township when I was in the other position that I held. And so I've helped them tremendously with their tax, and I've promoted BSNA going to the cloud for all of them because it is a much easier system for people to learn. And since they are volunteers, this is not something they do every day, and they can also change every 4 years when they have elections. I think going to the cloud would be the best bet for them. Not to mention, you can access it anywhere. You can give access to people without giving them access to change anything. And it doesn't take up space on their laptops or computer because it's a web-based program. BSNA heard all that, and so they then came back and wanted to congratulate me on the position that I've taken now. And also ask if I would be a liaison for them to help everybody else in the county to facilitate the switchover, so that if they had questions, they could ask somebody who has done it for the last, 3 years. And I said, absolutely, I'm really excited that this would happen. It will make a much smoother transition for all of us to communicate and be on the same page with the BSNA cloud. So we have a meeting on June 2nd, I believe, at Commission on Aging to start that transition for them. We did get a reply back from Representative Nyer. And he said, thank you for giving us the email on House Bills 5529, 5530, 5581, 5583, 5584, and 5585. He said that the bills, as introduced, have been referred to the House of Representatives, and they were expected to remain there and not move further forward. So enough people in Michigan spoke out against it that I think they understood that that was not the direction they wanted to go. I'm not certain if anybody has seen, but our treasurer for Isabella County is retiring in July. The county is right now looking to fill her position. There's not a lot of qualifications, so if you know anybody that, would want to step up, they have to be a resident of Isabella County, they have to be 18 years old, and they would prefer somebody with a degree. That's not necessarily a mandatory thing, but they would also like to have somebody step in that has some accounting experience and some treasury experience. I believe they said the whole package was around 145 or 140,000 a year. So if anybody knows anybody that fits that bill, it is on the county's website. And they're, with Kathleen leaving and Steve leaving, that was a lot of knowledge that is leaving the county. So to date, we have collected $2,005 in fireworks donations. And our next lake committee meeting is, I'm not certain why it says possibly, but our next lake committee meeting is May 21st at 10 a.m. here. And that is all I have.
Any questions?
I got a question. I don't know if I heard you right. Is the water system gonna be coming to the village or is it gonna be gone?
Eventually, I mean, the county knows that it's not sustainable for them. When they asked if we would take it over, I said, we cannot in good faith take over a system that we know is failing when we collect less than 1 mil in property taxes. We have no way to fix it.
Right.
So what I suggested is that we look at alternative methods to possibly, remediate the situation. So I gave him a few of those options and he said he would look into them on his end, because it's their water system, so.
Just, I didn't understand it. Yeah. Make sure that we weren't taking it.
No.
Anyone else? Questions? Thank you. Mr. Russell, I see you are here. Anything to talk about from LIPOA?
Yeah, I guess. That day went pretty good. Now that they can extend their dot, we don't have as many coming in. We ended up with, I think, 9 dots left under 350 somethings. They're pretty limited, even though we added the dots at the river at Riviera Park. And garage sale, a lot of people participated. And it seemed to be a success. They got weather helping. And then we have the 4th of July, or getting the shirts for the run done. And then we've already ordered the hot dogs for picnic in July. And we have 4 positions open for the August election.
Okay. And the run is on.
Going on,
the 4th, right?
Pardon?
The run is on the 4th. It actually does.
It's on the actual 4th this year.
Okay, thanks.
It's always on Saturday sometimes, that's the 4th, sometimes.
All right. Good enough, thank you. Public hearings, we have 3 of them. We'll have open public hearing and then we'll close the hearing and then we'll have, under existing business, we'll vote on the resolutions at that time. So. Ms. Manley. Brownfield Authority Creation Resolution. Public hearing open at 7:15.
So before you is resolution 2026-08. It's the establishment of the Village of Lake Isabella Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. In March of 2026, the Village Council adopted resolution 2026-06, declaring its intent to establish this authority pursuant to Act 381 of the Public Acts of Michigan. Following the adoption of the resolution of intent, we published the posted required notices and scheduled the public hearing for tonight. The proposed resolution formally establishes that the Village of Lake Isabella will have a Brownfield Redevelopment Authority and outlines the powers, duties, and governance that go with that. The establishment of a board, which will be appointed by the village president with the approval of the village council, adoption of bylaws and operational procedures, preparation and recommendation of the brownfield plans for eligible projects and compliance with all requirements of Act 381, plus filing the adopted resolution with the Michigan Department of State Office for the Great Seal. What this will do is it will create the Brownfield Authority. It doesn't mean we're gonna actually do the projects. It doesn't mean that we have, I mean, I know what we talked about in March, we talked about our north lots. This doesn't specifically, put those lots in the brownfield. This will be a brownfield authority for the entire village. It then gives us the option to move forward with any projects that we want to do. But first we have to adopt this and then create that authority so that they can then move forward with how they're going to administer the program.
This is just to set it up.
This is just to set it
We're
up.
not doing it right now
Correct.
because this is just the beginning, the nebulous, we get the very genesis. Okay,
Is that in cooperation with any of the other organizations or that's down the line?
Right now, we're working with MMDC on the Housing Coalition. And it is something that they had recommended. It's something that will benefit the residents of the village. Property owners that would like to move to the village. And this is just a way that we could get the state involved to help with funding. So
because basically we have how many lots up there in the north end?
I believe
That we
60.
dan- 16,
60.
60s that we dance around with, so.
Right.
We can't sell them. Okay. Any comments from the public that were sent in at all?
No,
Okay. So this is your opportunity, as the public, to ask questions, just keep remarks within a couple of minutes and name and address for the record.
John Boyd, 1063 Crown Point, Lake Isabella. We've lived here for quite a while, but we've just recently homesteaded. So time to get involved a little bit more than just vacationing here. Could you please just briefly tell me what we're talking, brownfield with the 60 lots, what are we talking about?
okay, so the 60 lots is separate from what we're adopting tonight. This right here just adopted will give us the authority to create a board, if you will. That will then look into any projects that will go under this. So brownfield used to be mainly for commercial properties, for dilapidated properties, for properties that needed remediation.
Okay.
Anyways, it would help them clean it up. So if there was like the river in St. Louis, is it maybe, that had the chemical spill? Those properties got to be, I believe, in a brownfield so that the state would come in and clean some of that up so then they could be redeveloped and actually sold to the people without having contamination on their lots. Now they've opened it up to just vacant lots that have been sitting vacant forever to give local governments help with moving those lots so that the public can buy them. So
Such as, help, like what, creating low income housing or something? What are we talking about, more than 60 lots?
So low income housing is is an option, I guess, or we could put. You know, any sort of housing up there, and we don't need this to do that. This just will allow the state to have, Brownfield will allow us to utilize money from the state.
Are these 60 lots scattered all around Lake Isabella, or where are they located?
These 60 lots, again, I have to repeat, are not 100% in this. It's not 100%, but it's been decided. That would be for the board that this resolution is gonna create to then decide, to then bring back to the council.
I understand.
But-
Where are these 60?
They're up on north, if you go on El Camino,
It's true.
in Drew Road, we have a big swamp there, and then we have some on a cul-de-sac that's off of the back lots on Drew.
And these are just owned by the village?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Anybody else? All right, additional discussion by the council.
I think it's fair to say though, to pretty much work those tunnels as is, right? Because
Right.
if we wanted to do anything with them, we have to turn them back over to the county. Correct, so this is our chance to have a say in kind of what happens with those and maybe get them on the tax roll and just, other than just sitting on them forever. Those are our options, either just keep sitting on them or, have a say in what we do with those lots, cause we're not gonna get anything if we just give them back to the county.
Were we not able to sell them in the past for some reason? Because they needed remediation or something?
They actually don't need remediation, but we have not had any interest in them being purchased. That being said, we
Are they for
absolutely,
sale now.
they are not for sale. We had several ideas in our master plan on what we wanted to do with those lots, and it is possible that we could still do a park up there. We have a walking trail up there. We haven't mowed it yet this year, but we have in the past. They talked about a cemetery at one point in the cul-de-sac. They talked about several things.
Yeah, I think the village originally purchased them for an extremely low cost from the county
From the state.
from the state to use as like a public project.
Well, actually, what it was is there was only a certain amount of building permits allowed, septic permits. And so people had unbuildable lots, we could trade their lot they could trade that lot for one of those. And that's what we tried to do, is try to get everybody, because there's X amount of building permit or septic permits allowed. And so that's how we got into accumulation of them.
And so it's
So, right,
brownfield instead of, like, so if we turn around and sell them, I think we only can get back what we paid for, 'em, which was like $20 or something. But if we put it in a brownfield, we could have it developed and hopefully have a tax, based like a family, instead of somebody buying it and then it just sitting vacant. Like we wanna kind of expand our community and our draw and use like, the best possible outcome instead of just having the wooded empty property that it's not bringing in any money and we can't make anything that's a benefit for us. But we're looking at this, we're trying to figure out what option do we have that's going to be the best for our community.
Thank you.
anyone else? Okay, public comment closed. Public hearing is closed, 7:24. And do that under existing. Proposed Broomfield Fire Protection Special Assessment District is next, is Manley.
This is proposed resolution 2026-09. This is the second resolution to renew the Broomfield Township Fire Assessment. This was started back in 2000. The Sherman portion of Lake Isabella pays 1 mil on their Sherman Township bill to be part of the Nottawa Sherman Fire Department. Broomfield at the time was getting their fire protection from Wheatland. So they did a special assessment. And part of that special assessment is that we have to renew the same one every single year. We can't do a 10-year or 2-year. We have to send out the same mailing, do the same public hearings every year. And what it does is it allows Broomfield Township to pay the 1 mil on their village taxes so that they can now be part of the Nottawa Sherman Fire Department. And that's who is called for the village Broomfield portion if there's a fire or a rescue. So instead of coming from Wheatland, they're coming from down the road.
A lot faster.
And if you are new and you are in Broomfield Township and you haven't already, there is a letter that you can get that you can turn into your insurance for your homeowner's insurance, and they will switch your rate to a better rate because the Nottawa Sherman Fire Department has a better rating than Wheatland. So that is what that is about.
Any questions? Public have any questions?
So that cost is gonna remain the same, it just needs to be renewed at least.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Seeing none anymore? This public hearing is closed at 7:06. Cheryl. Okay, number 3, proposed budget and capital improvement plan. This will take a look.
Well, it is a rather extensive budget. I want to point out right at the beginning though, that based on 1 mil. And unless voter approval, it cannot be increased. We've operated on 1 mil, we're continuing to operate on 1 mil. And that will not change without voter approval, regardless of whether we remain a village or become a city. There is no change in that 1 mil tax. That 1 mil is also one of, if not the lowest in the state of Michigan for city or village. That's something to keep in mind. The finance committee met on the 5th. We looked over the whole budget that was submitted for approval tonight. Went over a line item by line item. We had a few questions. One thing that we're going to get home at, village website will include the village equalization value. Equalization value numbers and related charts. When do you expect to see that?
By the end of this week.
By the end of this week. Oh. There's also occasional questions about what's listed as a sewer fund, shows the $65,000 balance. That is basically a misnomer. That $65,000 refers to the value of the lagoon property. That money set aside to develop the sewer. And that that's being removed as a line item. So when you look at the budget, you need to keep in mind that it's not the goal of the village or the budget to show a profit. That's something we leave to business. Village, any expenditures or monies left over after expenditures has to be reinvested back into the village. Be it streets or equipment or whatever. It's not designed to show any sort of profit. We also talked about the code enforcement vehicle. You can see it out there. In and around, driving around some of the times, but it's got some mechanical problems. So we're probably gonna be getting rid of that. If and what we replace it with is something beside the future with. It may be traded in on our new DPW truck. one thing it will not be done is sold to the public. Because of mechanical issues and concerns, we just don't think that would be appropriate. We also talked about purchasing another speed radar sign, seen a couple of them around the village. It's our recommendation, we've already got two, really can't justify or think we need a third. That was removed. Talked about getting some RFPs, requests for proposals. Plans and price analysis for street work, an ongoing thing throughout the year. Got our DPW out filling up the pothole. Given some of the other areas around the county, I think doing pretty good on that. Streets do, we do need system to degrade the streets to see when we need to redo them, resurface them. We talked about relocating a village sign, tree removal out front if it's necessary. One of the other items that we discussed is the siding on this building, repainting it versus re-siding it. And it was determined re-siding is not only less expensive, but it's gonna permanently last a lot longer than just a paint job. So that was a recommendation where we made change that from painting to re-siding. And we also discussed wood chippers. Seems to be a big topic. If we want to rent them, we want to buy one. It is the recommendation of the finance committee that we purchase one rather than rent. Cost going up all the time. Yeah, we need to look at availability. We need a wood chipper. We need it now. Not call a rental place and say, well, when can we get it? We've got people that are experienced in using it. It is the recommendation of the village finance committee that it be purchased, not rented. Those recommendations were all closed in the budget submitted to this council for review and approval. And if there's any questions on it, it's been on the website. It's still on the website. So, you know, look at it anytime you want. I was a little disappointed nobody showed up at the meetings, and it's hard to get a feel for what the residents think, but you know, nobody's there. Jessica, did we get any calls or anything, no? Recommendations or questions on the budget?
No.
Okay. Well, we went through it, as I say, line item by line, I didn't expect quite a bit of time and effort on it. Because after all, it's your money we're spending. And those are our recommendations to the council for accepting the budget as shown and as submitted.
Okay, thank you. Comments, also.
I have a question. Under the airport, you see we still have funds in there for next year. And if I understand it correctly, the $800 is actually for cutting grass. I think, not sure.
No, I don't think it is.
Nope, that's for the airport manager.
For cutting grass? Because he cuts grass.
He does cut grass, but that's not what it's, I mean,
We don't pay for that.
we just pay him a salary because he's our airport manager. So he, you know, he's the one that if planes are coming in or there's any questions about the conditions of the runway. He's also the one that is the contact for the state when they come do the inspection. He brings us the report for that if there's anything that needs to be done. So that would be, and he has to maintain his airport manager license through the state.
Okay, and then I see we funded the money for $25 for memberships, okay? But we took the money out for insurance. How are we gonna be sure that they have insurance on that?
That would be part of the lease and over or takeover if that ends up moving forward.
Do you have any date when we're actually, because we've been waiting and working on this for several.
For a long time, yep, so, our attorney just spoke with their attorney. And I'm hoping to have a document before you in the next month or so. It, with the caveat that if it doesn't go through, then we will be seeking to move forward with them.
Okay, because I've been waiting on this for 12 years. And I'm done after this year. But I'd like to have that airport out.
Yep, so I do know, I just talked with Cliff that, you know, their attorney had called ours to hash out the lease agreement, language. So we're hoping to have something to bring back to you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anybody?
So even if they lease it from us, we're still gonna pay him, each, we're still gonna pay him this money.
We'll end up taking it out.
I had one quick question. This says 25-26 amended. Why do we have $7,500 on postage for traffic services from Major Street Fund? It's account 851. There's
Right.
$7,500.
So that would be something that you guys approved last year. In the budget, I wasn't sure why Tim put that in the budget. So when we do our budget amendments, if we have not used that, we will be moving it.
Page 31. It just says amended. I didn't go back.
Yeah,
Did.
I was trying to figure out why he would have done postage. The only time we've done postage is when we've done a special assessment and we have to do mailings. But
Right.
so, and that will come to you guys in your June meeting, the budget amendments.
Was that happened to something with Lake Restoration?
Would not be in the street fund. no.
No, I'm just trying to figure out where it came from.
Yeah, from 14 to 7,500.
All I know is that in all the years I've done accounting, except for the special assessment. For local and major streets back in 2005 and 7, I've never expense postage out of either of those funds.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's possible.
Just cause like literally the line item right above is tree trimming for 7,500.
It's the exact same, so yeah,
I bet you that's what it is.
just a typo. Makes sense. But that still has to be an amendment budget. I mean,
Correct.
budget amendment.
Correct. Which will be done in June.
Any other questions? From the council? Public questions? Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm that guy. But question for Robert, nice job on the treasurer's report there, but just a question. And I understand we don't operate for profit like a company might do, but what about surplus? We have to have surplus,
Any surplus or reinvested in the village services.
but you can keep that
streetlights
in the
or
books
whatever.
as a surplus, so when something does come up, we've got some extra funds to do that with. We don't have to just spend it because it was a profit.
That's correct.
We have a fund balance policy that you can find on our website that explains what we can do with the surpluses.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
I
Anyone else?
encourage anybody to haven't pulled up our website. There's a ton of information on it. About every aspect of operating the village. Already, everything.
Nope, I was just asking if there's any more questions. Anybody else? All right, closes for now. This is general public comment time. Anybody? Seeing none, we'll go on to existing business. Now we'll get to vote on those things.
Did you want to maybe mention that this would be the meeting to talk about anything?
Yeah, you can talk about anything on the agenda. Now. What? All right. We have two public comments, just general comments. one at this point and then one towards the end. All right, existing business resolution 2026 Brownfield Authority creation. Had the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the council?
Make a motion to accept it.
Motion made by Laraway to accept the Brownfield Authority creation 2026-08. Seconded by Berenger. Further discussion? Seeing none, resolution is roll call, please.
Joe Lati,
Yes.
Robert Laraway,
Yes.
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes, Carrie Behringer,
Yes,
Paul Cuny,
Yes.
Dave Torrance.
Yes, motion carries unanimous. Resolution 2026-09 Special Assessment District. Chair will entertain a motion. Motion made by Berenger to accept. Second. Seconded by Latte, 2026-09. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Robert Laraway,
Yes.
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes, Carrie Behringer,
yes,
Paul Cuny,
Yes.
Joe Lati,
Yes.
Dave Torrance.
Yes. Wood chipper,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
That's the way we want to do it? Okay. Let's talk about that.
So over the past several years, the village has continued to experience an increase in maintenance demands related to roadside brush, storm cleanup, lot cleanup, tree trimming, and right-of-way maintenance. I know that the council has discussed in the past whether or not they would like to rent a wood chipper or purchase a wood chipper. A lot of good points were brought for both sides of that. And speaking with Jerry, who worked for a wood chipper company for many years, he was pretty confident that he would rather purchase a refurbished wood chipper. He reached out to Bandit and Mobark, and of the two, brought back the one that would fit what the village needs. He is familiar with what he needs to do to maintain it. He's familiar with what he needs to do to fix it and how to operate it. If we don't go with this one, you know, he would be willing to research further. But he felt that this was the best option for the village moving forward and would then allow us to start next week with getting all of the brush from the winter storms cleaned up. And if not next week, then June 1st, when our new employee potentially will start.
Discussion?
I think it's fine. The only reason I wanted to hold off is I think the procedures you should follow. Is going on. No, I'm all for that. Chip.
I have questions, you know, like, what's our yearly spend? Like, what do we usually spend per year renting a chipper?
We've never rented one.
Did you check into that at all?
Jerry checked into it. The problem with renting, his opinion of the problem of renting is that if we rented it and let's say he got sick when he rented it, then we're out the money. Or if it rained, or if you know, anything happens to where during that time that he has it rented and then he has to then re-rent it again. Because of the extensive, I mean, I don't know if you guys have driven around the village, but we have just a tremendous amount of trees that Jerry and Tim cleared that is sitting in our right of ways, that if it dries, will be a potential fire hazard moving forward. Our brush pile, we are still working with the fire department to have them come in and do a controlled burn. They need 5 volunteer fire department members to sign on to do the controlled brush pile burn. If not, we are going to have to potentially close our brush pile, which is a huge asset to the village, but for the same reason, it's getting unmanageable and as it stands right now. So those combined, and with under Jerry's recommendation, I feel that moving forward, but if you guys would like, I could bring back rental prices.
Well, I was only asking so that we could see the, you know, those, we haven't had one for 7 years. How many times in that past 7 years has DPW got that far behind with that, you know? So if it's a crazy expensive purchase one. Just to have, when we don't use it seldom, it might be, move us to, know what renting it, but if we're only gonna use it seldomly or occasionally, I have no idea what the cost. I think
The price that's actually in, I mean, the cost of the wood chipper is 20,000. Again, I mean, I can definitely look into a few of the companies, I'm sure, I mean, Brett, do you know the companies
They're $350, $400 a day.
a day?
So,
How many days worth of stuff do we have going on?
I'm guessing at least 30 days.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
there's a lot more to it than just buying something. I mean, knives that you have to replace, you have to change the oil, it's not free. Chippers are, they can be temperamental, there's a lot of things to fail, I mean, you're grinding up whole logs, they take a beating. Yeah, I mean, if we haven't rented one in the last 2 years, it's hard for me to justify spending the money.
A lot of times we've had our tree company come in, so and I could get the Aspen bills. That would. Be part of what that is. This would help alleviate needing to bring in a tree company.
Continual savings if people along, not having to bring them in.
I mean, if getting the chipper and now we have an extra hand for DPW because Tim could only do so much since he had to do this as well. We could alleviate having a tree company come in as often as we do, and or just have them drop the trees and then we do the cleanup ourselves, which would be a tremendous savings.
I would prefer to rent until it becomes a glaring need that we could save money with the chipper. If you've never run a chipper, how can we say that we're saving money? We spent $0 on chippers last year.
And we spent $48 on tree removal.
I have to agree with him. Because I look at it, I thought this was discussed, because I've been gone.
Well, we had discussed it, we had any term for.
Right, but I see there's no, I can't see the justification either.
The last time we talked about chipper too, I told Tim that it's worked out a deal with, Bandit. I actually have, I have a prototype at my house right now. If Phil wants to use it, and we can use it all next week. And it's running. I have it. It's free. So, we can work out deals like that and just, we don't get a big ice storm every year. So I mean, you have to change the oil every year. You have to, there's things to maintain. It's a living, breathing machine.
I would imagine though that it's not being used constantly, that cost will be somewhat minimal, and obviously the more use, the more maintenance is required. Yes, the oil every year, but that's minute as far as, maintaining.
I mean, a lot of times the equipment, letting it sit can be the worst.
No,
thing for it.
I'm not disagreeing, I'm just saying, as far as the.
How long does it take for those, to wear out the blades?
There's a lot of variables.
I have no idea. I run them. I take them back for that reason. I don't even tell you what knives cost. I mean, I know they're expensive on like a mulcher head, like for teeth, but I couldn't tell you what knives cost for a chipper. But I don't know.
I mean. 18-inch diameter ones, they're a little large, is it a lot of like really large? Every that we have, cause like, I mean, there's smaller chippers, but
No,
everything's created.
this was the smallest one that Jerry felt would do the job. That would, for the trees that are down right now.
Isn't that large, I mean, I see that, but it's really not as far as some of these down trees and stuff we have, but.
Well,
The brush and stuff will be smaller, but.
In the areas of the village where you and I live, we have a lot more. Like because the trees coming down, in fact, we got a lot of trees down, we got a lot of brush pile. The need for chipper is certainly there.
Well, the currently is my only concern, because even if we paid the $350 a day and it took them 30 days, that's still half of what it cost us to purchase.
You can get multiples that are a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and yeah, if you were to rent that equipment for a
Based on
month,
the number of times you rent that, you're getting closer to the
right?
price all the time. And,
Yeah, and by no means am I trying to be argumentative, you know, yes, it would be nice to have more, but I'm just trying to, you know, justify the cost versus renting it versus how much we've spent in the past and, you know. That would be nice to know before we, you know. Just say that,
the
spend
finance
$20,000.
committee looked at all that, we see that as an additional service to our voters. You know.
Okay, so you guys looked
That's
at.
why we recommended that. It
Right.
remain in the budget.
So you guys looked at what we spent on the tree service and stuff, versus, you know, the.
It's been discussed, yeah, been discussed at these meetings as well. We discussed it several times. All that taken into consideration. Many job make the best recommendation that we made.
Well, yeah, and that's why I'm asking these
Yeah.
questions, so that I am informed, you know, before I vote on it, if. You know, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't, you know.
And we've got Jerry's input as well.
I suggest we wait.
It's just we table.
Yeah, we table that
Not,
part.
we don't table.
Can't take.
Can't table. Will we wait for that purchase until we have some
Bring it
numbers?
back next
Yeah,
month.
can we do that?
Next month, I was thinking we just put it off until 6 months to a year.
Well, we
we've
have
got
to
to
do
have
something.
something
We
now.
have to either rent one or buy one, so we,
Yeah.
this must be up in this.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm saying we rent.
yeah.
So
Now,
I will bring back the data for next month's meeting.
Right.
Just that, just the chipper.
Yes,
Got it.
I didn't see anything, if they give a warranty, I mean, I don't know if it's reconditioned by them, if you get a warranty.
it will
Another thing,
refurbish, yeah.
Like another thing, like when we're getting quotes, we shouldn't be paying tax.
They already said,
We're tax exempt.
yeah, they said on there to remove the $1,000 for the tax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw somewhere it was actually a 12-inch, but it says 18 by 16,
It is a 12-inch.
it's a 12, that's what it. that's
The 18-inch it's what it's called, but it is a 12-inch diameter tree that can go in.
I mean, the 12, that's a good chipper, I don't have a problem with the equipment he chose, I think that's actually a pretty good choice for a pretty good price. It's hard to justify when we've never.
Yeah.
Never spent money.
I'll I'll reach out to Aspen, see how much we'll save on our tree work that we're gonna actually have done this summer for the trees that are too big for us to take down. I'll see how much that'll save us. You know, if we do the cleanup ourselves,
Yeah.
I will get the rental, I'll get, a few quotes for rentals per day. If we can do, we can get some sort of discount. And there is another one at Bandit. We did talk to Bandit. They weren't as easy to work with it for Jerry. So, I mean, Brent, if you have a connection there that you can, because I saw a couple on there. There was one that was about $2,000 less than this one. But if you want to reach out to your contacts and have them just email me a few that would fit the bill. Just so we have a comparison to the mobile one, that would be amazing.
Well, I can place a phone call too and see if I can get this demo unit for longer, so if we really need a chipper for a month.
Yes,
I'll
we do.
I'll ask, I mean, even if we got halfway there, save us.
Yeah.
Not costing me anything, I mean.
Yep.
All
right, okay.
One other thing, just to make sure we're checking all the boxes, probably need to contact insurance,
For insurance, it's covered.
they don't,
It's not
care.
gonna. No.
Yeah. No, like Fargo.
Unless our equipment is over $50,000. They don't, we put it on there, but it doesn't do anything it doesn't affect our policy at all.
I just meant injuries, work comp,
No.
that kind of stuff.
Both of those are covered under the street department work.
Oh,
Yep.
Okay,
very cool.
good.
Now on to number 3. Is there anything more about the budget that we want to talk about? Okay, Chair will entertain a motion.
Wait, I have a question. How do we do this? Do we mention the wood chipper? In this resolution for the budget capital improvement?
If it's, go ahead.
If we choose to rent it versus purchasing it. Then it doesn't, like, adopting the budget is a fluid, so the council would just make an amendment to either take the ticket.
Right, so we can still pass the budget and not have that affect the wood chipper.
Correct.
Cool. Okay.
It doesn't necessarily, just because it's in the budget,
Doesn't mean
because it's over
automatic.
$5,000, doesn't mean that we can just go out and buy one.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah,
Now,
thank you.
anybody?
Motion to accept resolution 2026-10.
Motion made to accept resolution 2026-10, the budget for 26-27 capital improvement plan. Is there a second? Seconded by Peavy. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes. Barry Berenger,
Yes.
Paul Cuny,
Yes.
Joe Latte,
Yes.
Robert Laraway,
Yes.
Dave Torres.
Yes, motion carries. All right, new business. Ms. Manley.
Fireworks. At your last meeting in March, you guys discussed the directions of where you wanted to go with the fireworks. And in that meeting, it was stated that this would be the last year. However, the minutes did not reflect that. For many years, the Lake Isabella fireworks display has served as one of the village's most recognized and valued community traditions. The event has brought together residents, visitors, volunteers, sponsors, and community organizations in celebration of our 4th of July fireworks. The village has continued to support and approve the 2026 fireworks display scheduled for Saturday, July 4th, 2026. The reason we have this agenda item is not to discuss any sort of cancellation for the 2026 show, but rather review the long-term future of the fireworks at the traditional dam location and discuss the operational, financial, and safety concerns that have developed in recent years. We have had residential development near the launch area that does prohibit the size of the show that we are accustomed to. We did have it last year and we will have it this year, but we did have to go from our traditional, 8 to 12-inch shells down to 3 and 4-inch shells. There is a possibility that there's some easement limitations near the north side of the dam. I know that George reached out. He measured and did find that if we have it on the north side of the dam, that we do meet the 750 or 700 foot distance that is required to move up to like 6-inch shells. But I also had a conversation with the EMS who said that they did not feel comfortable driving down into that area. And we would have to talk about some major other logistics things. So although it is amazing that we could possibly use it, it's not 100% guaranteed that we can use it. If we can't get the fire department to agree to go back down there like they have in the past, that would prohibit that as being an area. But George did do the measurements. It does work out that there is a spot that is 700 feet away from the homes on Fairway and 700 feet away from the home on El Camino.
We'd have to give permission to use that easement.
From the association. Yeah, yep, which George has already given. I mean, I'm pretty certain the board is, okay, yeah, I didn't want to speak. But, George has been, very helpful when it comes to the fireworks, because again, this is a huge community thing, right? So when I put it on Facebook, which was directed that, if you wanted the information to get out prior to it actually stopping, we had a lot of comments. There was a lot of sad residents. I will say that unfortunately, none of them have come into the office or called, but if you go to our Facebook page, you can read all of the comments for yourself. Most of them just said, this has been a tradition for their families. They look forward to this one time, this one time a year that everybody in the lake comes together. So my solution, if the council is willing, would be to set up a committee, a fireworks committee, to look into options and possibilities that, we haven't thought of. The council has been doing this for a very long time, and maybe we need a fresh set of eyes to come together. Jesse has looked into a few different kinds of fireworks shows, like maybe a drone show. We've looked at the possibility of a barge. But our time is kind of limited on how much we can spend looking at the fireworks issues and still, maintaining what we have to do day to day to run the village. The evolution of the fireworks display has grown exponentially. When this very first started, it was supposed to be a one-time show. And that one-time show was 100% funded by the community. If you look in the packet that I gave you, and for those in the audience, there's a packet at the end of the table that has all of this information in it. You will see that historically, the donation line has kind of stayed the same, but our expenses has went up, with the exception of the COVID year when we couldn't have fireworks because of that. So we really need to find some alternative, solutions. We, maybe need to have the committee look at going to local businesses in Lake Isabella, maybe in Wademan, maybe in Mount Pleasant, to solicit some, sponsorships. If we go the drone route, we don't have to worry about where we shoot it off from, as long as, we or the association owns the property. There's just a lot of things that could be talked about, but we definitely need more community input, and that's where the committee would come into play.
I think that should be a citizens committee.
It 100% should be a citizens committee. That citizens committee would be a committee just like any other village committee. You would have to have your meetings here at the village office. They would have to fall under, FOIA and Open Meetings Act, and they would have to, all of their recommendations would come back to the council though for final approval. But it's something
Well-
that we could start, now to hopefully maybe work towards next year.
Yes.
A lot of what transpires is, we collect money for a show that we've already approved in February, but we don't have the funds for. So if everybody decided, okay, this year we're just not gonna donate, the village forks over $15,000 for the total for the fireworks show, and that doesn't include MMR. It doesn't include Jerry's time, my time, the sheriff's patrol, the marine patrol. All of that is not included in the 15,000. So when you put all of that together, you're actually closer to 20. So maybe part of the solution is, getting the money prior to February when we have to approve the application. There's just a lot of things that we talked about that the council itself, it could use help.
Well, yeah. I'm uncomfortable spending we're about 45% of the budget.
We are.
Just disapprove something for 21,000, that would take 3 years of fireworks. So that's the way I look at it, and I'm a little uncomfortable with the safety.
Understandable.
Because that one year David Livermore, the fire chief in Sherman Township, was dancing. He did not want us to do it.
Correct.
So there is a liability factor. It's nice to say, well, we have insurance for it. Who? Ask Florida how insurance works. I'm a little uncomfortable posting it just strictly on that. Personally, I love the fire. Those are my objections to having them at all after this year. Now, I'm only one,
Let me ask you a question.
but a committee of people I'll pay attention to.
For sure.
What we have this year, what we scheduled this year. That meets the requirements or not?
It does because we're using the smaller shells. We had a lot of unhappy residents last year because a lot of the places around the lake, they would sit at their homes and watch the show. And last year, half the show couldn't be seen over the trees. The only time you could see the show is if you were over in the park by the dam
Right,
or if you were on the water.
but if we have it in the same location and we keep it down to lower amount like last year's and this year's gonna be. And the people want that. And on top of that, they come up for 2027. They come up, we say, okay, we gotta know how much you're gonna fund. Okay, we will set let's say we set an amount, every year, we're gonna spend $6,000, okay? You have to meet this by this date. That way we can say it can go on or not. I look at it as, why do we, as long as we're still meeting it. Now, that if things could change later on and then they say, well, we have to look at a barge or look at something else. Why not just stick with what we have right now, except for the funding, we say we can no longer keep funding it with, taking a chance that you're gonna put money in. We'll guarantee this much money, you guarantee your part.
The only issue with that is the contract has to be signed in February.
Right, so we have to have it in probably by the end of the next year. Do we have the money or not?
So money, you're saying donate money by January 1st of next year,
January 1st or
the
you're.
public does,
Right.
and then we say how much we can afford to back it up.
Right,
Okay.
so I'm looking at the dollar side, I think that's part of our problems, the other side is. The safety, well, if we can do it this year and we can do it. I mean, we did it last year, we can do it this year, why not keep it there until? There's some problem that comes up, that there is, then we, it's always change.
And I'm not against that, but what do we tell the people that say we don't want to donate anymore because we can't see it? We don't own a boat, we can't get on the water.
That's your privilege. And then if the money doesn't come in, we don't do it, but it's up to the people. We're giving it to the people.
Well, that's exactly why I suggested we have a committee.
But see, I look at it, we don't need a committee, just let's do it. Let's suggest that the funding comes in. We stay with the same amount we have. Okay, because if you start getting into where George says we can move down a few yards and we can pick it up. Something else is gonna come up and this and that, and why get into all that? Why not just? This is how it's gonna be.
I mean, I love that idea, but I really think a committee would be the way to go so that should problems arise in the future, they're already on top of it.
They won't be on top of it because if something new comes up, it's gotta change, it changes everything. Well, I just wanna see the fireworks go.
I think the committee would be important because they could explore possibilities too. They could explore other possibilities. Because if you're talking about a barge, what'd you say, Brent, about 20 grand, are they?
I don't know.
And-
Well, that's where committee would be nice, so they can present all that information to
Right.
us, so we have the.
We have an idea.
The other issue is our insurance coverage would not cover our barge, is that correct?
Our insurance company, if we bought a barge, that would put us in a whole different bracket. Now, if we had a company who had their own barge that we utilized, that's different because that's their insurance. But if the village bought a barge, we would have to, it opens us up for a lot more liability.
No, second.
The other problem with barge and everything else is all of a sudden, oh, I don't want that in front of my house, or, oh, I want that in front of my house, why is it going to this?
Yeah.
You're gonna have a lot of.
That's why we need a committee. They gotta figure all that out.
And the issue with moving it right now is we have to be able to get fire trucks and emergency vehicles in there. And if they cannot, then that affects our insurance as well.
Oh, sure.
So, and moving it doesn't necessarily, the other side of the dam doesn't support that.
You know, if EMS doesn't want to access on our side, then that really shoots it out, really. But we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah.
My personal opinion, what I'm uncomfortable with is that the Facebook post went out and I saw an email that said it was at the direction of the council. It was clearly discussed. It was not. It was not clearly discussed.
Everyone to vote.
We never voted on it, and I watched the meeting several times, and, Dave totally raised concerns about it, but he said, we'll do whatever the council wants to do. And we gave no direction, and 2 weeks later, I'm getting blown up on my phone because the fireworks are canceled.
Me too.
I don't know.
Well,
I would like some explanation on how that happened.
they didn't say it was canceled. We said we would host it.
Answer.
No, it did.
The word we said was hosted in.
What the email said, it's canceled.
The letter said hosted, but the Facebook did say cancel. Yeah.
Oh, it did say.
Yeah.
canceled.
They said it'd be the last year of the show, I mean, whatever verbiage you wanna use. It doesn't really matter. I mean,
Well, the point was, we just wanted to make sure that people understood that we can't keep running that.
who's we?
Yeah, it was we.
It wasn't
the
me.
council.
You're saying we, it wasn't me. We're on the council together, but you said we.
With that, I said that in the beginning.
I know, but who was we that agreed?
You never voted on it. You never
We-
voted on it.
Well, my understanding was, I don't do Facebook, even, but. That letter that went out, it
Yeah.
says we are not going to host it in, which is a different meaning to me. I
I
didn't
know,
say cancel.
who made that decision? Cause you say we made that decision. I didn't make that decision. Come on the council, I'm sitting right next to you. I didn't make that decision.
I didn't make it, because I wasn't here.
And there's nothing, there's no
You're
votes. The
Okay,
videos
so
are
I
online.
will tell you exactly what happened. Tim was leaving. I was moving in. When I listened to that, it's, Dave said, this will be the last year. Everybody started talking about, yeah, this, and then there was a vote. Everybody votes for this. When it was stated that way, it sounded like that it was part of that motion.
There was a vote.
There was a vote for approving
This year's.
this year's.
Yes, thank you, but not.
Right, but when you listen to it, when Dave speaks and then it immediately goes to a vote, so it did sound like when he said the motion with the caveat that, we need to let the people know that this will be the last year, and then it was voted on. I will 100% take the blame for putting it out there. I apologize.
Looking for why.
I apologize for why. That is why I said, let's have a committee, because
Rescinded. It was never rescinded. It was never clarified.
there was never a vote.
We're not gonna get to the back.
You mean a vote?
Everybody wanted a vote.
Public comments coming.
Everybody wanted a vote. But there's nothing to rescind, because what they're saying is it was never part of the vote to begin with. Therefore, there's nothing to rescind. Their vote was strictly to have the fireworks, to approve the contract, to approve everything that goes with it, and the second payment,
This
or the
year,
first payment for this year. So we wouldn't need to rescind it. However, the council still does need to discuss that is why it's on today's agenda. They need to discuss where they want to go. If they want to have a committee, if they want to stay status quo. I mean, these are questions that need to be answered.
I fully understand the challenges. I do.
I mean, I 100% take full responsibility.
And I understand the shortfalls on, the money. I mean, I've even personally guaranteed a fireworks show when we raised our donations. I mean, I'm not even here for the 4th, but still, I think it's a great thing for our community.
Yes, it is.
What makes me frustrated is that I didn't vote on this. I didn't have a say on this. And I've watched that meeting 100 times.
I do wish that you would have reached out when I emailed though and said, I don't understand where this came from. Because I got no direction except 2 council members saying, yes, this looks good, and yes, I agree with it. So I thought I was acting on the direction of the council. Nobody called me to say, that's not what we discussed. Why are you sending this out? Nobody called me even after I put it on Facebook. Nobody emailed me.
I emailed that we changed our last meeting, but I didn't hear anything back on that. So, I mean, if you want to play that game, I did email about
But
that.
this is a manager issue. The change of a meeting is a president issue.
I'm just saying, you can't put out a message to the community that this is the village council's decision when it was not.
And she just said she made a mistake. Can you let go of it now?
It's a pretty important thing to bring up. though.
I agree, and it's been discussed and finished.
I know you guys like to just, let's push this.
No, we guys, nothing, Paul, that's not
No,
right,
no, it's true. Because there's other things I'm concerned about.
and that's inappropriate as well.
No, it isn't. Yeah.
To say it in this meeting, it's not part of
No,
the
it
agenda.
isn't. It's open. This should be an
I do
open thing so
apologize.
people know what's going on in the world.
Yes, I know, Paul.
None of this hush hush stuff. I don't agree with you.
But I think the committee is the right way to go, get more people in the community involved. And they have a whole year to work on how we're gonna pay for it next year and what we gotta do, and I guess if the community doesn't step up, then
That's something that the
Right.
council
It
can
is.
discuss later.
correct. And I didn't hear anybody complain. I mean, people watched from my house and they saw the fireworks just fine. I don't know where,
I couldn't see them from mine, and I'm 3 blocks off the way.
yeah, I've never watched them from there, so I don't know.
I care,
if
but
you
I
could
know
see
that
them
last year I
before.
couldn't see them, I could see them the year before.
Mhm.
I couldn't see them at all last year.
But we've been running 6-inch shells for the last 3.
Yeah.
No, last year we went down to
Yeah,
4.
last year was pretty.
Oh, but we can still use 6, can we?
No.
4 is the biggest we can go.
No.
That's the challenge.
I think a citizens committee would be, I mean.
Yeah.
Beneficial
Yes.
at minimum.
I will
Um,
say, I'm sorry.
Just to like also address like looking at like what is the development that's encroaching? Is there something coming up that's,
There's
you know,
already a
we're
house
gonna
there,
have to
but yeah.
shift? Cause I know there's, you know, I mean. It's great to have fireworks over the water. I know a lot of lakes really appreciate having that as part of, you know, their culture. But it's also, you know, like I have my dogs and I know a lot, like my kids. I always gotta turn the noise machines on, you know, the dogs go and hide in the bathrooms. There are new technologies to look at that people are upcoming, like the drones, and it's quiet. So, you know, I think that just having a citizens committee where more people come in with ideas, or I saw this, or I saw that, or, you know, we really need to, if we, you know, we wanna stay with what we have always shown, but maybe there's a new way of doing it. Maybe there's new technology or looking at costing. I just think that with, you know, the time, and I know there's a lot of people that really care. I would love to hear what they have to say and what they come up with.
So how do we get a committee?
I actually have committee forms at the end of the table and I will put them on Facebook and they will be on our website. Because our next item, I believe, is upcoming committee appointments for other committees as well. So what we would do is a committee, you know, name is stated clearly, so we would call this the Lake Isabella Fireworks Committee. It could be a standing or ad hoc, you would identify that, and then you'd have purposes and duties. If they pretty much, if we come back at the next meeting, we would have everybody who applied would be brought back at the June meeting, so we'd probably want to cap the date at applications being submitted by like June 15th. And then just like any other committee, Dave would appoint committee members, and at the, you know, and then the council would approve those. It'd be no different than like when we created the public safety committee, only this one would be community members versus, or when we created the lake restoration committee with 3 members from the LIPOA, 3 members from the village, and, you know, the only difference is this is a committee of, you know, citizens. It should, I believe it, I believe it should be all citizens. I mean, I would have to be there to take minutes, but it should be, you know, if the council wanted to, they could absolutely have a council representative, just like they do on any other committee.
To be fair, like for some of the public that hasn't been to meetings too, this has been talked about a ton. Even though that we did move, I mean, this goes back to even when we started like lake dredging things, we asked Eagle if we could put our spoils in the middle and have an island to shoot fireworks off of, so I mean. When was that, which, I mean, we've been talking about it for a while, so it's not, this isn't new, but the timing of it is more in that stuff is more of what my problem was, but. Yeah, I think the committee going forward would be the best way and. Yeah, have, 8 people go and, market it, should go crazy. I know when we did the. It's not a GoFundMe, whatever Tim wanted to do, because they didn't take as many fees. I know when we started doing that, we got a way better turnout. So,
It's a whole bunch of houses.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, there's all sorts of options. I experienced it. Without it.
and I mean, I guess, if. If it just runs its course, it runs its course. But I think definitely a committee is the way to go.
This guy's a supplement.
Yep,
Good guy.
yep. Okay. Upcoming committee appointments.
The following terms are complete and need to be filled in as of June 30th. I am emailing the incumbents the applications to continue on and will also post the openings on our website and on Facebook with a link to submit an application. For planning commission, we have 2 3-year terms. Amy Irvin is one of them and Jason Benzinger is the other. Zoning Board of Appeals has 2 3-year terms, Jeff Gray and Greg Belcom. And Board of Ethics has 1 3-year term. Aaron Williams. So I just wanted that to be stated and to let the public know that we do have some openings on other committees. And that you will have that on your agenda next.
Okay. Lake Patrol.
We are in receipt of the 2026 Lake Patrol contract with Isabella County for our 2026 Marine Patrol agreement. That gives us 3 weekends for Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day, and 1 extra weekend thrown in there at some point during those times. This is something we've done every year. The total cost is $2,083.52. And that gives us 2 Marine deputies to patrol the lake during those 4 times.
Any questions about the contract?
Last year too.
Yeah, we've done this just about the last 4 or 5 years, I think. The coverage may have been different, but this is what we got this year.
Yeah, I thought it was always you buy 4 and you get 1 free.
Yeah.
They give you the fireworks for free.
Yes, essentially.
Okay. Carol, entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the new business of the Lake Fishery contract for 2026.
2026 Lake Control contract motion made to accept by CUNY. Seconded by Behringer. Discussion. Seeing none. Roll call, spending money.
Oh, all right, Carol Shannon, yes. Terry Behringer,
Yes.
Paul Cuny,
Yes.
Joe Latte,
Yes.
Robert Laraway,
Yes.
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Dave Torgerson.
Yes, motion carries. So we're going to do these in our. We're going to do the Mount Pleasant or Isabella County Sheriff Department agreement first.
Yes.
Not the Mount Pleasant contract.
Correct.
Okay. Gary, you wanna reset the safety committee?
So, the safety committee and myself, we met with Sheriff Maine. And he gave us the breakdown of the services that would be offered to the community for a part 0.5 of a full-time sheriff's deputy. So we would have a dedicated sheriff for 20 hours a week. He already has a candidate that would be a great fit for our community. Is an older public service defender that, and he is Beal right now is the school security. And he would come on as their full-time employee, we would pay for half of his cost and he would be dedicated to us. He is also Marine certified. And he is not a new cowboy. He's very relaxed demeanor. He thinks it would be a good fit for our community. He offered like starting with a 3 8-hour shifts a week. Possibly able to shift to 6-hour shifts depending on what our data shows after he would start doing patrols. So if, you know, we find that, you know, 8 hours is, you're getting a lot of coverage, a lot of things he's taking care of. Or it's, we have dead zones in those, they can modify them. We discussed, you know, some of our needs as far as animal control, the boating and speeding, traffic violations. He said that, you know, anything that we come to him with, like Jessica can reach out to him with concerns of like if we're having break-ins, right? Which we've had, or thefts, they can kind of start working on that, figuring out when can we start, you know, getting a hold on this or something that's going on. Sorry, I lost that train of thought. It sounded like a really good fit for us. Right now, we're paying for how many, we could 4 hours,
Was it 8 hours
8 hours a week
for the same?
for the same cost. With 20 hours coverage a week. And we would not own any of the, you know, we wouldn't own any of the vehicles, it would all be theirs, but it would be our officer, known by name. The sheriff's department also has a new QR system. They can put stickers up around the community, so if you have a concern or a tip, you can just scan it with your phone and it'll take you directly to their site. You can contact them, give them information, or they will reach out to you and communicate, you know, to address your needs. We just felt it was a really good meeting and it seemed to address all of our needs. I believe he said, also stated that there's another community looking for something similar because starting our own police force would be extremely cost prohibitive. So they would be able to bring on 2 new deputies with these agreements, one for our community, and then half of his time would then be also given back to Isabella County. And then the other officer that is covering the other community, that time that they're not in that community is come back to the whole county as well. So it would increase this security coverage in our community, our local community, and the county at large, instead of just having the state patrol. So we felt it was a good productive meeting and it ticked all the boxes that we were looking for as far as our needs and what is best for us.
This and replace the city police?
Yeah, so the city police, we would end the contract with them.
Terminate their contract.
Yeah,
If we
and
were
then
to accept this.
if we wanted to do this one, then we would negotiate with them how to end that contract, Jessica would. And then the sheriff main said that this deputy could be brought on almost anytime we needed, that he's ready to go.
I believe you said within 3 weeks, they said last
Yeah, he
week.
said the
Yeah.
school, once school is done, he's free from that job and coming in, so.
And the city already knows. I did give the city a heads up that it was on the agenda for tonight's discussion.
And they have a 30-day, you have to let them know 30 days in advance.
And we can talk about that when we go to the city, but they are in agreement with what the council is thinking about doing.
And based on Sheriff Mann's past track record, I don't recommend changing.
Yeah, Sheriff Maine.
I'm quite happy with the city and I think they're doing a good job.
What do we spend a month right now with the city for like the coverage we have?
Between 3,000 and 4,000.
3 and 4. I was just trying to compare how that would be.
Well, I thought the committee did a great job. I was looking through the whole thing. I really liked what you guys came up with.
So it's essentially the same about what we're spending anyway.
Right,
Correct.
but we get more than double the coverage and a dedicated officer, which those two things there are huge, yeah, as far as, you know.
I mean, it would be great because, you know, then they know, because right now the city's doing a wonderful job, but it is a different officer. A lot. And if you do have a dedicated officer, they can get to know the citizens, they can understand, you know, what's actually going on if there's, you know, an incident and there's like another layer of mental health or, you know, it's a habitual thing, but they're more aware of it so that we don't have, you know, things that escalate. And then also, you know, it's more coverage, for the money. It seemed to kind of tick all the boxes that we were looking for as a good middle ground.
I have a question. So animal control is concerned, having someone here more hours and someone who acts in the community. Do you think that would better support people and their concerns about animal control?
Well, I believe he has the authority for it.
Okay.
I
didn't know.
think
I
that
believe he only has one animal control officer.
they
Right,
retired.
but this person could then do that for us, is what I'm saying. This officer, that's what I'm asking.
See, this officer is actually because the county's animal control officer is retired or retiring.
Oh.
He's not on service anymore. He's got time. This gentleman, if nothing is coming up right away, as like our contract, he is going to be the animal control officer.
Okay.
He's going to fill in intermittently until he comes here or until this is not an option.
Okay.
So, but they do, the sheriff does have the authority to do that. Okay. I don't,
Again, given the sheriff's track record. I wouldn't support it.
Okay, I apologize to the committee too for missing that meeting. Just a heck of a week and my only thing is. You know, I kind of tend to lean with Bob on it about, we've kind of got burned by the sheriff's department before, you know, if we.
Whole company got burned.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean, if they go away again and we go back to the city, they might tell us no thanks or whatever, and then the last thing is. The long-term commitment thing, so if we fund this through the election and then it doesn't pass on a millage to pay for this policing. Then what, or is that, they kind of know it's a temporary thing until November? That's.
They know it'll be a 1-year contract, so just like the city, we're paying the city out of general fund right now because regardless if we went with the city or the county, we were going to be looking at a millage anyways.
Right,
And the city knew that it would be contingent upon this millage going forward. The county knows the same thing. Like, we will fund this for 1 year. You know, so if in November the ballot fails, then the council will be coming back, but there is the out clause as well, just like there is with the city that.
I think it's instructive to also include though, that we passed a third of a mill.
I was just.
And after the county went sideways on us, we did not collect it for 2 years. We gave it back to the community. We said, well, we can't in good conscience fund that and take that money. So we don't have that money available, which is why we're asking for a different millage.
Right, but that'll be later.
But it's important for people to understand
Yes,
that we didn't just take the money because we could have kept it.
right.
Kept it in a different fund and then.
The other thing the sheriff did say, just to help alleviate some of the concerns, especially Bob and Brent, that the contract will be very fluid, meaning if there are any problems, we can sit down and revamp the contract at any time. You know. So that like if we need to change, if we want less coverage for some reason, or, so we can revamp that on the fly. As long as it's amicable to both parties, of course, you know.
Well, it's up to the council.
Do they have any type of, like expenditure cap on it? Like, so, we sign up for it, we do a millage and then, next year they wanna double their officer price? Like, was there anything like that, or we just work on that portion of it?
It just says after the first year, the county has reserves the right to annually negotiate the
Okay.
price. So they can't just automatically come back and say, this is what the price is going to be.
Right.
They do have to, we can negotiate.
But a big part of this for the county as well is they're receiving 20 hours of officer coverage that they would not be able to get otherwise. Full time, so this is a, we're scratching their back, they're scratching our type situation.
This contract is definitely different than our first contract.
Yes.
Our first contract, we needed them. This is a way for him to start rebuilding his force back up. So he is
And we're
very
not the
much
community that's
wanting to,
potentially doing this,
No, it's a better bang for a buck for sure.
and I do recall, when we did have the county and they switched over to their new system, the council was not happy with the new way they were reporting because we weren't getting the statistics. So one, I did ask for daily logs like the city of Mount Pleasant sends us, and he said that's absolutely something we could do. But also wanted to let us know that Central Dispatch is going back to their original CAD system, so we'll be able to get that original reporting back as well.
That's nice.
And we did discuss too, having the officer maybe one or two nights a week actually do a few hours overnight when we're seeing a lot of the thefts, vandalism and littering in the community. So, and he was, receptive to that idea as well.
and also, we could have, like a quarterly or bi-monthly meeting with the officer himself. To help communicate directly with him, because he'll be dedicated here. So that we can, give him suggestions that will, behoove the village better, while we don't need to, patrolling the road as much, we need to do, we can help guide him to what's gonna be most beneficial to the community and him being here.
And originally, we didn't, when we first worked with the sheriff department, we didn't know who or when they would be here. Is that correct? The advantage to this plan is we know how many hours a week, and this person would check in with you to let you know what the schedule was for the week.
He would not check in with me per se unless that's something the council wanted me to put in there. But he would check on duty with Central Dispatch, saying he would start his Lake Isabella, which is the same thing that the city does now. The city does not give us their actual, where they're gonna be. And mainly it's a safety issue, because let's just say I know when he's coming and I decide to tell everybody, okay, don't speed Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday because there's gonna be a cop here. So the less people that know when they're gonna be here, but they do have to check on duty with Central Dispatch.
Okay.
And the city police, a lot of times will stop into the office when they're here, either when they're checking in or when they're checking out. So that's something we could facilitate.
That's a valid point, but anybody with a cell phone and a police scanner app is gonna know when the city's out here anyway.
Right.
I do,
I mean,
and I know where they're gonna be.
if the council wants it in the contract that we know the schedule, the week prior, I mean, that's something I can definitely speak with Sheriff Maine.
I was just curious because I know we didn't even know which day they would show up. This way you at least will have an idea of a schedule. Yeah, that's all I meant in terms of if we had an issue, you would know if that deputy was in the area or not.
Yes.
That's all.
Scheduling would be more flexible than this agreement as well. Like we could request, as long as we give notice, a certain time of month, like if we wanted the officer here during the yard sale weekend or something for girls. So that it won't be just totally random. We can request certain coverage dates and stuff,
Yeah, Facebook goes through just benches. Do a little back and forth, but yeah, and then. Depending on, you know, what the data shows. If it changes with the seasons. You know. Summer or. It offers flexibility.
This one doesn't have a 30-day notice like the city one. For the contract to get out of. I was just curious, just
It
because,
should have it in there, so if it doesn't, I will talk to Sheriff Maine about putting it in there because that was discussed.
my only concern is. We fund it through the election. Because we were anyway, if the voters turn it down, I would feel bad about spending money that they said no to. You know, either. If they say no, we shouldn't be funding it anymore.
Okay. I will definitely have him make that amendment to the contract.
You don't fund, I don't know if they're cool with that, or if that's something that we could talk about, but.
If the council as a whole is in agreement, we could just put 6 months. So it'll start July 1st and December 31st, with the exception if the millage passes, it will then move. Will that work?
I think that's good, I mean,
And it gives us the option of what to do next.
especially if we're getting there on the ballot language, but I saw 0.4 mil, which is. For the amount of coverage that we're getting, and I mean, that's a great deal. So. I guess if it fails, I would just feel, I don't think we should be spending general funds on this. If they turn it down. I support it.
If it fails, we've already got rid of the city police, so.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's coming to the point now where we can't just keep paying for it out of pocket, you know, we were bridging the gap because the millage passed and then the county went out of business and went bankrupt, so we didn't leverage the millage, and then we had an opportunity to get police back, and we did it until this November.
Yeah.
Basically, it
Yeah, it was always intended to be intermittently until we did the village and had.
was a short term.
Secured, long-term coverage.
What's the pleasure of the council?
I'll make a motion, we approve, the Isabel County Sheriff's, Office Law Enforcement Agreement, with that change.
30 days.
30-day. No, it's.
Change was.
With the 6 month,
38 or 6
make it the
months,
6
either
month,
or.
depending on the election.
Yeah.
Like, they'll know election day,
Yeah, yeah,
so they'll get a 60-day notice
yeah.
if they're fired or not.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Is there a second?
A second,
Seconded by CUNY.
Hey.
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Paul Cuny,
yes,
Joe Latte,
Yes.
Robert Laraway,
No,
Harry. Brent Peavy,
Yes,
Carol Shannon, yes. Terry Berenger. Yes. Dave Torgerson.
Yes. Motion carried 6-1. Mount Pleasant contract. So. How do we need to dispose of this? 30 days prior written notice?
Yes, so. With the council's direction, I can draft the letter formally. Requesting that
Notice of
June-
termination.
June 30th be our last day with the city police. Like I said, when I emailed them, the chief of police was very understanding. You know, this is fiscally the right move to make. Politically, they, you know, if they tried to come in and compete with the county, then they're essentially hurting the entire county, which, you know, nobody wants to see. I mean, we all want to work together. We all need and want police in our area. They have to be fiscally responsible to their residents, just as we have to be fiscally responsible to ours, so they can't lower their price to match the county. And they absolutely said, should anything change and we need to work together in the future, that they are 100% on board with that.
it's outstanding.
Yeah.
Good for them. I mean, that's good leadership.
So we would just need a motion
Yep.
for me to do that.
I need a motion to terminate the contract.
make a motion, to terminate.
Well, CUNY respectfully. They were great. They did an awesome job. That's the worst part about this whole deal. Is they were fantastic.
Made by CUNY to terminate the contract at the city of Mount
Yeah.
Pleasant.
Second.
Second by Latte. Further discussion? Roll call?
Carrie Behringer.
Yes.
Paul Cuny,
Yes,
Joe Latte,
Yes.
Robert Laraway,
No,
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes, Dave Torgerson.
Yes, motion carries. Ballot language proposal.
Okay. So the village council is being asked to consider the ballot language proposal, which we will have to put together and get to the county clerk. I believe July 28th. It has to go to our attorney for, his approval before we can do that. The Public Safety Committee talked about several different options and millages. They came up with 0.4 mils for a period of 4 years, beginning in 2027 and continuing through 2030. I know that it looks only like 3 years, but that is counting the 27 year. The way that they ended up wording this, when our previous ballot language for the 0.33 specifically stated for Isabella County. So when Isabella County ceased to exist, we couldn't then take that money and use it for any other policing at all. It had to be through the Isabella County Sheriff's Department. The way that this proposal is worded would allow us to use the money to contract with the city of Mount Pleasant, or let's say Sherman Township gets another marshal, we could contract with the marshal. We could, do something similar to, other municipalities who have trifecta where they all get together and hire a deputy. It broadens it. It still can only be used for law enforcement, police protection, road patrol, ordinance enforcement, animal control enforcement, and public safety. It can't just be, we can't just use it for anything. It does have to be used for law enforcement of some type. But that alleviates some of the fear on what happens if this doesn't work out for the county and they don't get to keep their deputies. Then we still have that millage. We don't have to stop collecting it. And we can immediately then turn back to going towards, the city of Mount Pleasant or, the village of Shepherd. They have their own police force as well that we could potentially, contract with. It opens up our options and doesn't tie our hands like the previous ballot language. Nobody thought the county would go under. That was, completely unexpected. And had we even thought it would be on the horizon, we would have worded the ballot language back then different. Like Dave said, our previous was 0.33. We are asking for 0.07 more. So the 0.4. It does not cover the entire amount, so we would still be paying around $8,000 out of general fund. But we did that with the other, when we were collecting the 0.33, so.
Yeah. And that was a recommendation of safety committee.
Public Safety Committee, yes, busy.
It's important.
So it's only incumbent upon you guys to get promotion.
What idea, unless there's questions.
Well, you can have questions and a motion. Are there questions in the council?
I think they did a great job.
No question.
No questions?
Right. I make motion to accept the new business law enforcement ballot language stated.
Motion made by Behringer to accept law enforcement ballot language. Seconded by Latte. Any further discussion? Seeing none, set roll call again.
Yes. Joe Latte,
Yes.
Robert Laraway,
yes,
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes, Terry Behringer,
Yes.
Paul Tierney,
Yes.
Dave Torres.
Yes.
Right.
Motion carries. Logo. Is managed.
The village council is being asked to review and consider approval of proposed branding and outreach graphics prepared for the village communications and public information purposes. If you looked in your packet or at the top of the screen, behind you, the primary logo is the top one. That's what we use on all of our legal documents, anything that is being mailed to the public. That's our primary logo. Most of you have noticed, hopefully, most of you have noticed that I have started posting a tremendous amount of information on Facebook. It does seem to be attracting a lot of positive feedback, because prior to that, our Facebook really didn't, it didn't explore very many options, and we didn't utilize it to its fullest potential, I don't believe. This way we can get more community engagement. I've been putting a lot of stuff about cityhood out there that has been in the meetings. We've talked about, I have Fun Fact Fridays, which is exploring our website so that it shows different spots on our website and where they can find things. It gives links to things. I know at one of our previous ones, when I was bringing up the cityhood stuff, Dave, you had said you like the Our Lake, Our Community, Our Future. Another one was just Our Community, Our Future. I would like a motion that gives me the ability to use logos of such on our Facebook page only, not on our official documents. That to let me create for our village Facebook page only. And mainly using those three that's up there right now.
I'm cool with it.
Just online branding.
Just online branding. I
Just
just,
the Facebook, it doesn't go over to the website or
No.
also.
our website is only the top one.
It's just.
Yeah, this would just be online branding, just to make the graphics look more aesthetically pleasing. It was just brought to my attention that the council should be aware of the logos that are on Facebook. So I wanted to make sure that you were aware and that you were okay that to give me creative leeway on Facebook. And should we ever venture over to Instagram, but this would not change our official logo on our official documents.
I don't see a problem with it.
No, somebody gonna make a motion?
Well.
Motion made by Shannon to, what were you gonna say?
Oh, to approve the use of the logos as presented in our meeting tonight for Facebook and other, just Facebook?
Social media.
Social media, thank you very much. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Is there a second?
I'll second
Seconded by Peavy.
okay.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
it.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Meeting. June meeting date.
Your June meeting date is June 16th. Historically, we've always moved the June meeting to whichever date was closest to June 23rd, which is in your charter for when the budget and budget amendments have to be approved by.
That's why I thought it was the 23rd.
Yes.
Mhm.
In addition to that, I am going to be in Italy for 11 days. This is something that has been in the works for 2 years. Tim had approved the time off prior to his departure. I mean, he knew that this was happening. It's through the educational tours through the schools, and I'm going with my youngest daughter. If the council is, okay having the meeting without me here and running the OWL and doing the minute meetings, there's really no reason to change it because the budget is already approved. We do have the budget amendments, but the entire council packet will be done prior to me leaving. So you will have it, so it's just up to you on whether you want to change it to the 23rd, so that I can be here and take minutes and run the meeting. Or if you want to keep it to June 16th and you guys take the minutes and run them.
Passes.
Do you need a motion?
I can't make the 16th anyway, so.
All right,
Deal.
perfect. I make a motion, we change to the 23rd, please.
Seconded, motion made by Shannon, Carol, yeah.
That's,
Maybe you just been on the meeting?
We J two.
Yeah.
Surprise.
June.
You're up, dude.
Y'all should be scared.
All right, seconded by Laraway. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Second portion for public comment, name and address for the record, please.
Jeff Craig, 1009 Pequena. Two quick things. One regarding the wood chipper. I like the idea of getting a wood chipper, whether renting it or buying it is your decision. But my question at this point is when they end up chopping up the wood. I had heard in the past they were planning on just leaving the wood chips right there in the ditch or on the side of the road, which I don't love that idea for a variety of reasons, but when it comes down to financing something like that too, I would probably rather have the wood chips put into a truck, dumped over at DOT, turn around and sell them to village residents, cheap, obviously, but it's a way to help fund paying for something like that in the first place, so that would be my recommendation. And then second, regarding the fireworks, can I get clarification, did the council approve doing a fireworks committee or not? I didn't quite understand what you did.
Yes.
Okay,
He's gonna have,
I'll happily volunteer for it.
anyone else? Okay. Any council comments?
It is nice to see a number of people here.
All right.
And I'm sorry I was scared at first. You guys were great too.
Any further announcements?
I would like to say, anybody who wants to join the fireworks committee, please take the application at the end of the table there. And if you have any questions, stop in the office, give us a call, email us. We can walk you through whatever you need to
The
know.
application's online too, isn't it?
The application is online as well. If you want to fill it out online, it's on our website. And off the top of my head, because it's getting late, I can't walk you through it without being on my computer to walk you through it. But if you call me, I can walk you through on how to get right there. And so can Jesse.
Yep, and I've also laid a little bit of groundwork and made some contacts for both barge, drones, just random fireworks people. So it's not like the committee is going to be starting from absolute ground zero. I do have a little bit built up there to start out.
Stand adjourned.